Congratulations to the Team Roddy player. He will be moving on to the decider match. In there, he will be meeting up with DIMAGA. It'll be interesting to see what these two players are going to bring to the table. You know, let's just go ahead and hop into it. Let's see who's going to get out of the decider. Alright, spawning in the top right hand side of Ancient Cistern, representing Berserker Esports, it is DIMAGA. And on the other side of the map, representing Team Roddy, it is Fjant. A ZVZ, the first not PVZ we've had all day. If I know anything about my ZVZs, is that this is going to be absolute chaos. Well, as I say that, DIMAGA is actually going hatch first here. Actually, both players going hatch first. I guess this is a big enough map to feel safe and confident in doing such a thing. Not something I would do, because I'm a coward when it comes to ZVZ. Very similar production lines here. Both players are decided to give the other space. Everyone loving Ancient Cistern and hating Neo. I don't think I've casted a single game on Neo Humanity so far. Not a single game. I mean, I kind of get it though. Like this is a fairly standard map with a decent length to it. Like I feel like that you would not find a lot of people who have a problem with this map. Like I could see like maybe some issues with Terran. Like some of these siege tank locations are actually pretty wild. But I feel like this is kind of like the map people like to play on. Alright. Do have our first bit of Ling on Ling violence here. Taste the lope. Fjant just kind of poking around here a little bit. Oh, DIMAGA actually got the upper hand there. Yeah, they're just poking around. Both players have opted into the Ling Bane phase of the game. DIMAGA's is going to be just a slight bit faster. I think actually DIMAGA right now is just like kind of just a little bit faster in everything he's doing right now. His Baneley Nest was just a touch faster. He's been getting workers just a touch faster. His circling's been coming out just a touch faster. But all of these things kind of, they do add up very quickly in high-level games. That being said, Fjant is moving out onto the map with a handful of Zerglings. DIMAGA's third base is now up and operational. Actually, DIMAGA's skipping directly into +1 missile, so I'm guessing he doesn't want to stay with or stick with Ling Bane for too long. And I kind of get it. Ling Bane Wars kind of will destroy your wrist in the long run. Ooh, DIMAGA actually just crushing Fjant's Zerglings there. So he's going to try and Kind of sprint in here. There's this one Baneling that's trying to, oh! Almost was a hero. A couple of reinforcing lanes are going to pop up. DIMAGA actually wastes the Baneling. Doesn't get the kill on the Queen. That would have been a pretty decent pickup, actually. Fjant immediately going on the counteroffensive. However, there are two Banelings here that are going to try and make some magic happen. Let's see what happens. I don't think... Oh, no, Fjant was paying... was kind of paying attention, but does lose 11 drones there. Unfortunately, it looks like he kind of messed up the micro. However, his Zerglings are getting into DIMAGA's natural base. Looks like he's going to be able to take out at least a couple of drones here. Let's see if it's actually going to be equal damage. Oh, 4 have gone down. So 4 workers have gone down, and unfortunately Fjant has lost all of his Zerglings, whereas DIMAGA took out 11 drones with 2 Banelings. So this is looking kind of bad for Fjant right now. DIMAGA streaming across the map. Looks like he wants to kind of push his advantage here. However, Fjant still has well, I was going to say he has defender's advantage, but whoa, I don't think he's going to actually be able to hold this. A whole lot of DIMAGA Zerglings are coming up now, chasing Fjant's Zerglings into the third base. It looks like they're actually going to be able to take care of business here. Looks like the Queen is going to go down here in just a second. DIMAGA is making 11 roaches currently to Fjant's 8. So Fjant does have a decent army, but it's not going to last him too long because DIMAGA has just gotten a lot of economic damage done and has been keeping up with his droning. I'm almost not certain if Fjant should be pushing out at all at this point. Do you have a lot of roaches streaming across now? DIMAGA is going to see this. Oh, he's actually going to back up with the roaches. I think he's realized that this is just not going to be the call. Fjant has caught back up in drone counts. However, he is going to be behind in army for a few minutes, or for like a minute or two. It's so wild in a ZVZ how quickly things can change, how quickly the status of a game can just switch up on you. Like, granted, DIMAGA is still ahead, but you know, Fjant is just focused on droning back up, and this is a lot of roaches. I don't know what I'm talking about at this point. Fjant's trying to go for a 4th base is definitely a bit of a gamble, especially now that DIMAGA is coming up in here. It's definitely going to be a cancel for Fjant. Fjant trying to gather as many roaches as possible. Unfortunately, it's just too few roaches. DIMAGA is actually chasing into these roaches. Fjant's going to pull a bunch of drones here. He's going to try and make something happen. Try to get as many roach kills as possible. Unfortunately, that's going to cost him a lot of drones, a lot of roach lives. And I think there's just too much here for DIMAGA. He's just snowballing out of control. DIMAGA is going to take game number 1. Probably, Fjant definitely probably droned a little bit too hard after losing that many drones. All right, be hopping into game number 2 here. All right, we now find ourselves on Gresvin, spawning in the bottom right hand side of the map. Up 1 game, it is DIMAGA. And on the other side of the map with the yellow Zerg pieces, give it up for Fjant. All right. Once again, looks like we're gonna have a bit of a slower start. I'm actually surprised. Not a single 12 pool, not a no 13 12s, no 14 14s. Both of these players are just being straight up with each other. Playing a good old macro game. I don't know. A funny thing that I hear occasionally is when, you know, like in the ZVZ, they don't cheese each other or do like a 13-12. It's like, well, that's because at that level, you know, Zergs can't get away with a 13-12. Like, the other player is just too good to actually be able to deal with it. And sometimes I feel like that's not entirely true. Like, I feel like you could pull the wool over another player's eyes on occasion. Like, if you do it every single game, yeah, a good player is not going to, like, fall for it every single time, and they're going to have a good defense against it. But if you just break it out every once in a while, just a little sneaky 13-12. I know I've got to be making some people just like absolutely furious because I'm advocating for cheese, but I got to be sometimes casting a cheesy game is fun. Like, it may not be fun to play, but I do enjoy casting some like really aggressive cheesy games. Like, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with this setup. Like, it's not that I don't enjoy casting some of these longer, like, macro games, but sometimes it's really fun to just, like, kind of get into the action right off the bat and start immediately talking StarCraft. That being said, both players are setting up the third bases. Fjant putting a heavy emphasis on drones right now. Baneling Nest going down for DIMAGA. Definitely a lot faster than Fjant's. I should have been paying attention, actually, because it looks like DIMAGA's actually gone for something slightly different than what Fjant went for. It's actually up a couple of army supply here. Can we have the maps combined into Neo Cistern? I think everybody would dislike that. I feel like if you combine maps, usually the worst features of each map come forward instead of the best. Alright, we do have DIMAGA getting a full scout of Fjant's base. Not really too much to see here. He's just going to see that Fjant is being straight up with them. Nothing too provocative or anything. Right, both players continuing to drone up here. Fjant actually going... Fjant's... It's kind of hard to judge. So DIMAGA's trying to go into roaches a lot faster than Fjant is. I think Fjant expected to be a little bit more economic in the start and then go into like banelings and roaches and whatnot. But DIMAGA just is... DIMAGA's already getting his upgrades. He's already got the baneling nest. He's already got... Well, actually, the Roach Warren just now started up. I think both of these players just like didn't want to play another Ling Bang game. Just a couple of defensive banes here. Nothing too crazy. Both players going for layers, the +1/+1, or just the +1, I should say. Now, looks like we're going to be getting into a game that's dictated more by the numbers rather than the micro. Fjant getting that fourth base up and running, as well as DIMAGA. DIMAGA pulling a little bit ahead in workers, only for Fjant to immediately close the gap once again. DIMAGA actually going for dropper lords. Interesting. A couple of extra banelings, so we are going to see some baneling drops coming up here. He also got overlord speed as well. Fjant trying to get a cancel on this 4th base. Not going to be able to do it with the number of links he has here. And we'll get chased off. Overseer getting out of another scout just to keep Fjant honest here. DIMAGA. Oh boy. I'm kind of excited to see what happens. DIMAGA starting to pop out roaches as well as Fjant. Fjant might have been a little bit supply block there. I just had to double check, make sure this wasn't like a double drop. So Fjant is going to come in here, not going to really see too much to be disturbed about. Banes are getting dropped into the main. Now, there is a push of roaches over here on the other side of the map. I don't think he's actually paying attention to his mineral line here. Seven do go down. Does put him a little bit behind, but Fjant is attacking into the 4th base here. The handful of Zerglings. It looked like he was going to try and push into the 3rd base, but then decided to pull back. Also, I'd like to point out, look at DIMAGA's vision right now. It is incredible. Like, I don't think there's a single point in the map that he like doesn't see right now, except from like I guess that dark spot and this dark spot, but you don't really have to see those. Ooh. Now we're going to have a little bit of a roach drop. It's going to be difficult to deal with. Fjant speed is just finished up. Does have a handful of roaches set up here, but which is a slightly wrong spot. That being said, DIMAGA is also setting up at the front. While Fjant is distracted with this hit squad here, he's going to try and get in, but Fjant is ready for it. Just absolutely comes in here, tries to body this roach army. However, DIMAGA does have reinforcements that come in and reinforce. Plus, these Ravagers are doing a tremendous amount of damage. It looks like Fjant's front is just going to be completely crushed here. No, I was wrong again. Fjant actually managing to push us back. There's no more roaches to actually cover for the Ravagers, so this is going to be an expensive gas loss for DIMAGA. Looks like DIMAGA's just kind of streaming units in one by one at this point. That's actually a decent number of Ravagers that got bodied there. That being said, though, Fjant did lose a decent number of drones there. Doesn't have to play catch up in economy. But at the same time, that was a surprisingly decisive victory. For a second there, I thought for sure that Roach Army was going to get, or Fjant's Roach Army was going to get just wrecked there with the reinforcing Roaches and Ravagers, but it stood strong. Maybe there was I might have missed like an upgrade or something. We do have another engagement here at the center of the map. This time more of a concave for DIMAGA, but DIMAGA's numbers just aren't quite there. Fjant is just breaking through once again. DIMAGA is forced to back up here. And this time, Fjant has a lot more Ravagers. It's going to be able to break these lines a little bit more effectively. Now, DIMAGA does have Defender's Advantage, so as long as he can keep pushing Fjant back just a little bit, it should be fine. Ooh, Fjant does eat a little bit of a bile there. However, ooh, nice split there by DIMAGA, but I don't think it's actually going to be enough. Fjant is continuing to just kind of break through here. And it looks like this third base is going to be under some significant damage, but on the other side of the map, DIMAGA is making something happen. It looks like there are a couple of burrowed roaches that are making their way through Fjant's main lines, getting into the mineral lines. And it looks like Fjant's actually going to get broken here, and he is going to have to back up. Now, let's see. Yeah, there still are a couple burrowed roaches that are making their way through here. 18 roaches have gone, or 18 drones have gone down for DIMAGA. Now that puts them on kind of equal footing when it comes to economy. But there's always going to be that danger of DIMAGA sneaking in burrowed roaches somewhere where Fjant's not ready for them to be. DIMAGA looks to be happy to hold the high ground here. Yeah, look at that. DIMAGA can see everywhere that this roach army goes. I'm actually surprised Fjant's not trying to clean up at least some of these overlords with biles. Now we've got a balloon pop on aisle 3. Might want to send a cleanup crew. Oh, this cheeky roach. That's... that one roach is just going to sit up there for a minute. Fjant trying to push into DIMAGA's side of the map again. Biles go down. More roaches coming to reinforce Fjant. Now, Fjant is slowly losing drones again, and he is falling behind significantly in economy. So he does need to, like, he needs to break DIMAGA now, or it's not going to happen. I do not think. It'll definitely at least go into a much later game. He's breaking off a handful of roaches to try and engage into the 4th base here, trying to do a little bit of a pincer attack, I would say. What is that one roach doing? Alright, Fjant engaging at the front once again. DIMAGA is being forced to break off some units. He actually does take out the 4th base. That is going to cut into DIMAGA's economy, but we'll have to see if... I think Fjant's ahead here. I think. There's a lot of Ravager damage going out here. Nope, it looks like DIMAGA is actually going to be able to take the upper hand here. However, there are reinforcing roaches that are going to come in. It looks like DIMAGA's line is actually going to be broken. Really well done by Fjant. He's going to pincer in all of these Ravagers. We do have a nice conga line of roaches coming across the map here now, and DIMAGA is just trying to reinforce with whatever he has. I'm actually quite shocked that Fjant managed to break that line. Sometimes these roach versus roach fights are hard to tell. DIMAGA trying to get a few more Ravagers on hand, but kind of mutating the men a bit forward. There's a big surround here by Fjant. It looks like he is going to break this line once again. GG's going to be called. And that puts us 1-1. Hell of a decider here. Really exciting to see both of these players how to push each other to the limit. Alright, let's go ahead and hop into game number 3 here between these two fantastic players. And we'll get to see who moves on from Group D. Alright, once again we find ourselves on altitude. Spawning in the top right hand side of the map. Representing Berserker Esports, it is DIMAGA. And on the other side of the map, sporting the Team Roddy sigil, it is Fjant. Alright, looks like once again we're going to have a fairly standard opener from both players. Now, I gotta say, in that last game, for some of those Roach Ravager battles, it was kind of difficult to see who had the advantage there. It's kind of, especially if you're not playing ZVZ all the time, it is kind of difficult to get the counts right for each side and figure out like who actually has an advantage there on the fly. I know for sure, like whenever I play Zerg Ladder and I hit another Zerg and we both decide to go for Roach Ravager, I have no idea who's going to come out in a battle. I just like send the roaches to their deaths every single time. You would think I'd learn at some point, but no, absolutely not. Once again, fairly standard opener out of both players. I wonder, so far we've seen early game Lean Bang. We've seen mid game Ravagers. I wonder if this is going to be, we're going to see some late game scenarios in this one. We're going to see some Lurkers, some Vipers, some of the bigger, scarier Zerg units. It actually has been a while since I've casted like a ZVZ late game. Like a long time. And quite honestly, I always find those to be like kind of the more interesting ZVZ games. Because like in a way, it just kind of becomes a faster version of TVT. And contrary to the popular opinion, I actually do like TVT. I do. Oh. DIMAGA getting the upper hand in the sling battle. Oh, but Fjant gets the upper hand in the other one. Fjant is a little bit late on his Bane nest, but he's also making a few more workers than DIMAGA was. Maybe feeling a little bit more confident to drone up there. Oh my god, these two lings are just... There's actually a lot of damage being done to this third base right now. Like, I feel like at some point Fjant could just come in and like just sweep that kill real quick. He's actually sending more lings across the map, maybe to do just that. He can't do it right now, but that's got to feel uncomfortable for DIMAGA for sure. Both players kind of investing into the Ling Bane phase of the match. Ooh, he's actually going to get the queen, which is actually a pretty decent pickup. Oh! Eye for an eye there. Baneling for a baneling. Fjant reinforcing here. I don't think he's actually going to be able to pick these banelings. He's going to pick one of them up. Oh! The banelings are still holding strong. DIMAGA actually switching into the Roach Warren already. Man, Fjant really wants that hatch so bad. You can tell. He's trying so hard to make something happen here. It looks like DIMAGA, though, is actually going to be pushing across the map here. Is Fjant going to lose his third because of his greed? That could be a possibility. Zerglings have started taking on the hatchery here. Decent connections with the banelings, I would say. More Zerglings are just streaming across the map. One queen does go down. It looks like Fjant does have lings on the other side of the map in DIMAGA's base, but he's also struggling to kind of defend this side. Does manage to push it back, and it looks like... I think the queen got attacked a little bit, maybe? Fjant's also really down on workers at this point. Like, he is really trying to push it to the limit at this point. Just try to... Oh, he might actually get this base. Going after the queen again. Yep, gets the queen. Oh, man. Fjant is here in force. He is going to get that. I think he's going to get that third base. DIMAGA is having to retreat back. A lot of banelings are streaming in right now. Fjant is going to get the third base. Wow. All right. So DIMAGA has now been pushed back into two bases. Fjant is knocking on his front door. It looks like he's just going to be... He's fine with just going back home for right now. I think that's actually a very intelligent and mature decision to make. You got a lot of damage done. You might as well go home. At the same time, though, DIMAGA is starting to stream across the map with a bunch of roaches. Fjant does have an opportunity to get out a couple of roaches of his own before it becomes a huge risk. Oh, Fjant's actually just going to go for it with the lings. There's already a handful of roaches here to defend the door. Fjant already has roaches here to defend, actually in higher numbers than DIMAGA has. Once again, Fjant gets a cancel on the third base. And it's going to take out a couple of these lone roaches. Ooh, I'm liking Fjant's position in this game. He's looking good. DIMAGA grabbing a handful more roaches. It looks like Fjant's just like... Oh, Fjant actually broke through. Alright, he is losing a lot of lings, though. He might want to consider backing up here just a little bit. Yeah, he's going to back up. Gets a full scout of what's going on in DIMAGA's base. He is going to see a lot of roaches. He's going to have to be prepared for that. I think if he can hold that, like, he's going to be in just a fantastic position for the rest of this game. He's just so far ahead in economy now. Even feeling comfortable enough to drone up. He knows it's going to take some time for DIMAGA's roaches to get across the map. Like, the lair was only just now started whenever he was in the base. Fjant is feeling comfortable. He's feeling good. Well, I guess relatively speaking. Does anybody actually feel good in this game of StarCraft? Is there ever a moment where you're not on pins and needles? Asking for a friend. Just, let my friend know, please. Fjant putting up a decent defense here. Ooh, going into the spires, Fjant. Ooh, that's spicy. Alright. Fjant's feeling pretty comfortable. Roach speed just finished up, so he's going to be able to get across that map a bit quicker. Ooh, yeah, this is obviously Fjant favored. Like, there's just too many roaches here. DIMAGA might have to break off. He does have defender's advantage. He has some roaches coming back up, but oh, he might have droned too much at this point. Fjant just breaking through this roach line. Oh my god, he is just absolutely crushing down on these roaches. Everything is going to be taken out, and this third base is once again under threat. GG is called. Fjant moves on. Well done to Fjant.